Hello everyone, good evening from wherever you're joining me. My name is Choma Odikolo and I refer to myself as a masterpiece, a renewed parent, a work in progress, and a light bearer. So you're all welcome to class today. So today we'll be discussing about how we can raise confident children and independent children. How can we raise our children to be independent and confident? So we'll go straight right into the conversation of today. So what is the meaning of independence? So independence refers to the ability to think, to act and make decisions on our own without relying on others for support or guidance. So independent refers to the ability for our children to think, to act, to make decisions on their own without, necessarily relying on their parents, for guidance. Independence has to do with self-sufficiency. That is our children being able to take care of themselves, being able to manage responsibilities, and being able to perform tasks without constant assistance. So when your child is able to carry out their tasks, when they are able to carry out their responsibility without needing assistance all the time, it shows that this child is self-sufficient. So independence also means autonomy. When your child have the freedom to make choices and control some of the decisions they make. So you have this child that's has this freedom to make choices. You give your child the freedom to make choices. You provide the right environment for your child to make choice. This child is actually an independent child. Also, independence has to do with critical thinking. It's the capacity to analyze something, to weigh options, and for our children to make informed decisions independently. Oh, I can see Mrs. V, thank you for joining us. You're welcome back. So independence also has to do with the ability for our children being able to make decisions, informed decisions independently. When our children can make informed decisions without always needing us to be there to make these decisions for them, it shows that this child is an independent child. So what is the meaning of confidence? Because we're discussing how we can raise our children to be independent and confident. Confidence refers to a feeling or belief in our ability. It's a feeling or belief or on the abilities, for our children to believe on their abilities. It's a feeling or belief on our qualities and judgments. When your child believes in his or her abilities, when your child believes in his or her judgment, when your child believes in his or her qualities, what he or she has, it shows you that you actually have a confident child. Confidence also has to do with self-assurance. It's a strong sense of self-worth and believe in someone's ability. Your child is confident and is self-assured when your child believes so much on themselves, when your child believes so much on his or her abilities, when your child does not need someone else to come and talk to this child and say, this is who you are. No. When your child understands who he or she is, when your child believes in who he or she is, that means that child is self-assured and actually a confident child. Confidence also has to do with being courageous. The willingness to face challenges, to take risks, and to stand by our own decisions and beliefs. So as parents, are we creating the right environment, the right situation for our children to make decisions? Are we creating the right environment for our children to face challenges and to take risks? Or are we creating the right environment, or are we taking all the risks for our children? Are we doing everything we need to do for our children? If we must raise children that are confident, we must give them sometimes opportunities for them to take risks. We must give them sometimes opportunities for them to face challenges and not always jumping in to face these challenges for them. Confidence also has to do with having a positive self-image, a healthy perception of oneself. This one also affects we as parents. As parents, sometimes we don't even have a healthy perception of ourselves. Most times we compare ourselves with other people. It also has to do with recognizing our strengths while also accepting our weaknesses without letting them undermine our self-esteem. It also has to do with the way we recognize our strengths. Confidence has to do with the positive image we have of ourselves. So as a parent that wants to raise a confident child, or that want to raise an independent child, do you have a positive image about yourself? Do we have a positive image about ourselves? Do we understand our strengths? Do we also understand our weaknesses, but not allowing these weaknesses to undermine who we are? Not allowing these weaknesses to stop us from moving? Do we understand all that? If we must raise confident children, if we must raise children that are independent, we must model confidence and independence first as parents. So the question I have for us today is, do we model confidence and independence to our children? Do you model confidence even in the things you say, even in your conversations, even in the way you relate with people, even in the way you perceive yourself? Do you model confidence to your child? Because our children can see, they understand perfectly well. They understand when we as parents are confident and when we are not. So if we must raise children that are confident, if we must raise children that grow up to be independent, we as parents need to model these things first for our children to do. So independence has to do with self-reliance and ability to manage our lives without excessive dependence on others. So you're an independent person, or you're raising an independent child, or you have an independent child. When this child doesn't have to rely on other people all the time, when this child is self-reliant, this child can take decisions on his own, this child can carry out his or her tasks on his own, not allowing other people to dictate or to tell this child what this child needs to do. Then confident children are children that trust in their abilities. Confident children and confident parents are people that trust in their abilities and judgments, that empowers them to take action and navigate challenges effectively. So you're a confident child, you're a confident parent when you trust in your abilities, when you trust in your judgment, when you don't allow someone else to talk to you about your abilities, when you don't allow someone else to put down your abilities. You know who you are, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know who you are perfectly well, so you can say you are a confident person. So now, why is it important for us as parents to raise confident children and to raise independent children? Now, it is very important for us to understand that when we allow our children to make decisions from a very young age, it helps them to build their confidence and their critical thinking skills. And decision making definitely is something we all do as adults. Decision making is something we do on a daily basis, hourly basis, every day, almost every time you're making a particular decision. So I can say decision making is something we need for life. So it's very important for us to raise confident children and independent children, because when they are confident, when they are independent, they can make decisions for themselves. When our children are confident and independent, they can carry out their tasks themselves. When they begin to start from this early age, doing their day-to-day tasks, picking up their clothes, picking up their toys from the floor, you not always being there to rescue them. You're preparing them for life. You're preparing them for the tasks they will carry out in life, later on in life. So it's very important for us as parents to understand that we need to raise confident children. We need to raise independent children, because it will help them. These skills will help them later on in life. Most of us parents were actually struggling, to be confident and independent, because somehow we never knew these things, and we can see how the effect is on us today. When you're not confident, there's something it does to you. It affects you. It even affects the way you speak. When you're not confident, you're always conscious of yourself. Sometimes we as parents are conscious of ourselves. You don't want to talk. You have an opinion on something. You don't want to say because you don't know how people will perceive it. You're scared of the reaction of people. You don't know, I don't want to talk. Most of us are even battling with confidence. Most of us are even battling with independence. I'm also talking to myself. So we can see these are the things, these are the skills that we need needed to have built right from where we are at a young age. And now as a parent, you have this, your children. Are you building the skills in them? Are you building the skills of independence in your children? Are you building the skills of confidence in your children? Because these skills are very important for them to navigate life. When your child is a confident child, no one can talk to this child and tell this child otherwise. This child understands who he or she is. And that is why I say it's a life skill. It's something we need to take seriously. We need to take building the confident part of our children, the independent part of our children seriously, because it's a life skill. So how can we raise or teach our children to be independent and confident? Number one, we have to encourage decision making as parents. It is very important for us to allow our children to make decisions right from a very young age, because when they make these decisions, it builds their confidence, it builds their critical thinking skills. It is important for us to allow them to make decisions themselves. Now, how can we do this? How can we achieve this? We should offer age-appropriate chores to our children. You have that child, allow the child to dress his or her bed. Allow this your child to pick up their toys. Allow this your child to wash their dishes when they are done eating. Allow this your child to put on their shoes themselves. Allow them independence. Allow them to try. Then when they try and probably they've not gotten it, you can now come in and teach again. Another way we can raise children that are independent and confident is to teach our children problem-solving skills. It's important we teach problem-solving skills, because confidence stems from knowing they can handle challenges. Confidence comes from we knowing we can handle challenges. As a parent, your confidence when you understand that I can handle this challenge. When you want to do something and you know that, oh, this thing is a walkover, it's something I can do easy, you're confident in that thing. So it's important for us to understand that when we teach our children problem-solving skills, when we teach our children how to solve their problems and not always solving their problems for them, we are raising them to be confident and independent. We are building the skills that we need in life, these skills that will be timeless. We should encourage our children to think through their process, think through their problems. When they are thinking of something, they have a question, encourage them to think first. Don't always be there to think for your child, because you will not always be with your child 24 hours. You're not with your child in school. So when your child has a challenge in school, how will this child think? So we should teach them how to think. We should encourage them to think. Not always providing immediate solutions. Not always being there. Okay, what do you want? I'm providing those solutions. No. Encourage them to think. When your child asks you something, encourage them. What do you think? What do you think? What do you have to say? Encourage your child to think. When you do that, you're building the skill of confidence and independence in your child. Another way we can build the skill of confidence and independence in our children is to foster a growth mindset. It's important we foster a growth mindset in our children, because this growth mindset helps our children believe their abilities can improve through efforts. When you build a growth mindset in your child, it makes your child believe that they can always improve, they can do better. Most of us as parents, most parents are even struggling. When we make mistake, we are down, you don't want to try again. Most of us don't want to try. When we try once, we try the second time, the third time, we don't want to try again. Because somehow this growth mindset we've not internalized it, we've not built it. But when we teach our children a growth mindset, we teach them that it's okay to keep improving, it's okay to keep getting better, it's okay to keep learning. It's important we do that, because when we do that, we are raising children that will be confident and independent. Now, we should learn to praise the effort of our children, not just the results. Don't be the parent that always wants to see the results. You want to see the end, but rather we should go for the effort. We should go for the process. Go for where your child has moved from point A to point B. That is where you should go to. Don't go to, the end result. How does the end result look like? No. We should foster a growth mindset by praising effort, encouraging process, and not just the end results. Even sometimes when we say some things like, you are a smart child, When we say some things to our child, we actually inhibit them from having a growth mindset. For example, you always tell your child, you're smart, you're good, you're this. It creates this mindset for this child that, oh, I am here, I cannot be better. But we should create in them this mindset that says you can always grow, you can always learn, you can always improve. Even if you don't get it properly or correctly today, you can try again. So that is one mindset we need to teach our children, because when we do that, we help them to be confident and independent as they grow in life. Another way we can raise or teach our children to be confident and independent is to promote independence in their daily tasks. It's important we promote independence in the daily tasks of our children. We should encourage our children to complete their tasks. We should encourage them to carry out their tasks. Don't be there to always do the tasks for them. No. Even when they say, Mommy, I'm tired. Oh, Daddy, I'm tired. You can tell them, okay, go and rest, then we'll continue. Okay, do you want 5 minutes break? Then we'll continue. Encourage them to always complete their tasks. When we allocate age appropriate tasks to them, we can encourage them to do it in bits. You could provide, okay, you can do it 5 minutes, and when you're tired, you rest. We can go back, But the most important thing is that we should encourage them to complete their tasks. It's very important, because when they have this mindset that I need to finish everything I start, it creates this confidence in them. It creates a sense of confidence in them. Another way we can encourage our children to be confident and independent is to encourage curiosity. It's important we encourage curiosity in our children, because curiosity drives learning and confidence in new environments. When our children are curious, they want to learn, they want to know more. So we as parents should encourage them to be curious. Don't be the parent that will shut down your child. Your child is curious. For example, you have this preschooler, or you have this toddler that is just touching things around the house. The child wants to feel everything around the house, and because you can't see that this child is just being curious. This child just wants to understand his or her environment. Most of us, what do? You shut the child up. You tell the child, oh, can you go and sit down? Can you stop that? Can you, we just stop our children. When you do that, you're killing the curiosity of your child. If you want to raise a child that be confident, if you want to raise a child that will be independent, allow this child to be curious. Allow this child to ask questions, and you will be very grateful you did that. How can we do this? We can give our children, how can we encourage curiosity? Allow our children to explore new places. Allow them to try new things. Allow them to ask us questions. We should create the right environment where our children feel safe to experiment and discover. Allow your children to ask you questions. Sometimes as parents, we are tired, and you have this preschooler that wants to ask you 100 questions at a time. But don't shut them down. If you're tired, you can say, okay, can we continue next time? I'm a bit tired. Can we continue later? But don't shut them down. Allow them to ask questions. Don't be the parent that when your child is talking, you say, keep quiet. Why are you talking? Are your mates talking? Can you keep quiet? No. Allow the child to ask questions. The child is asking because the child is just being curious. The child is asking because this child wants to know better. So we should encourage curiosity and not kill the curiosity of our children. Do you know that as a parent, one of our job or one of our duty is to keep and preserve the curiosity of our children? Because we will need that curiosity later on in life. Most of us as adults are not curious. That is why you find out that most of us, we don't want to learn, we don't want to try out new things, because we are not curious. Probably curiosity was not built intentionally while we are growing. But you are a parent now. You have that child. You can see this child is curious. This child is growing. This child wants to learn. Would you also kill the curiosity of your child, or would you encourage this child to be curious? It's our duty to encourage our children to be curious and not to kill or shut down the curiosity of our children. Another way we can raise children that are confident and independent is to teach our children responsibility. It's important for us to understand and manage, for our children to understand and manage their responsibility, to take responsibility. It's important we teach our children accountability. Our children should be accountable for their things. Our children should be accountable for their toys. Our children should be accountable for their school bags, for their school things, their school items, their school materials, their school books. It's important we teach these things to our children. It might not come so easy initially, but over time, our children will get to internalize these things, and you see over time they'll begin to be more accountable and take more responsibility, or more, and become more responsible with their things. How can we do this? We should give our children ownership of small tasks. We can tell them, okay, it's your duty to take care of your baby sister, take care of your baby sister for 5 minutes, or it's your duty to take care of your toys, it's your duty to take care of, just give them a small task, something they can just take care of. By doing that, you're building a sense of responsibility in your child. You're teaching your child to be accountable. Another way we can raise children that are confident and independent is to provide support to our children, not control them. It's not our duty to control our children. Our duty is to provide support. It's important for us to provide this support, because over controlling our children, it stifles their independence. It prevents them to be independent. When you are a parent that always control your child, you prevent that child to be independent. When you're the parent that always control every movement of your child, you control 100% everything that happens to your child, you're actually helping that child not to be independent. So it's important we watch that. How can we do this as parents? We should offer guidance and support when needed to our children, but we should allow them to learn from their experiences. Offer guidance to your child, offer direction to your child, but allow them to learn from their experiences. Allow them to learn from their mistakes. When they fall down, you tell them to get up and continue the journey. Allow them to learn when they fall. Allow them to learn from that experience. When we do that, we'll help our children to be independent. We'll help our children to be more confident. Another way we can raise confident children is to create a safe space for failure. It's important for our children to be okay with failure. Let us teach our children it is okay to fail. It is not wrong to fail. When you fail, you just learn what to do next time, not to make that same mistake. When you fail, you get up and dust yourself. Even we as parents, some of us will find it difficult to even handle failure. Most times when we feel we're down, we don't want to talk to anybody, we go to our shell. No, but it's not supposed to be. We're actually supposed to be okay with failure. When we fail, we sit down and say, what are the lessons I can pick from this? What can I learn to do better? What didn't I get right? Why did I fail? Why didn't I get this right? So what can I start to do so that I can get this right next time? That is what we should teach our children. Teach them that when you feel, you get up, you continue the journey. When you feel, you don't sit down there and stop there, but rather you get up and continue the journey. How can we encourage this in our children? Get your children involved in activities. Get your children involved in sports. Get your children involved in school clubs or school activities. Get your children involved in volunteering, in some form of collaboration. Get your children involved in sharing ideas. Do you know why? When your children are involved in sports, sometimes they will fall down. When they fall down, they will get up and continue. It will teach them that in life, when you fall down, you get up and continue. When your child is in a forum, when your child needs to contribute their ideas, when the ideas of your child is not taken, your child will get to understand that, okay, it's okay for my ideas not to be taken. I continue, I move. That is one of the ways we can encourage this in our children. Another way we can teach our children or raise children that are confident and independent is to celebrate the achievements of our children. We should recognize the achievements of our children. We should recognize the achievement. What have your child achieved? Even if it's something little. Even if it's something you think, oh, it's not important, but learn to recognize it. Learn to recognize and learn to appreciate your child for it. That is what we should do as parents. We should recognize the achievement, whether it is a big achievement, whether it is a small achievement. For example, when your child packs their toy, when your child finish up their puzzle, when your child wash their dishes, when your child does any small task, we should learn to recognize it. Don't be the parent that will wait until your child carries first in class. At the end of a term, you will now come and appreciate your child and recognize your child. No. We must learn to appreciate our children, even in the small things and in the big things, no matter how small it is. Even if it's for them using their manners, learn to appreciate and reinforce. Tell them, I can see you. Thank you for using your manners. Even if it's for them being kind to their sister or their brother, appreciate it. Don't wait for the big things. Don't wait for those things that are, oh, it's so big, before you learn to appreciate your child. No, appreciate your child in the small things and in the big things, because when you do that, you're helping this child to be confident. You're helping this child to be independent. You're helping this child to just feel, okay, I'm confident in my ability. You help this child to understand that when I grow up, I don't need anyone to affirm me, because I've already been affirmed by my parent right from the home. Another way we can do this, raise confident children and independent children, is to teach emotional intelligence. It is important we understand that confidence isn't just about handling tasks. It's also about managing our emotions. Confidence is also about managing our emotions, how we as parents manage our emotions. So how can we manage our emotions? We must help our children recognize and express or regulate their emotions. We can teach our children how to manage their emotions by teaching them how to even label their emotions first. Do they even understand the emotion they feel per time? When they are feeling sleepy, do they say they are hungry? When they are tired, do they say they are overwhelmed? Do they even understand the vocabulary to use? Do they understand the words to use? So that is our duty. We must first of all teach them the right words to use to express the emotions they feel per time, before we can even move one step further to now teach them how to manage these emotions. So how can we do this? We should help our children recognize the emotion they feel by putting the right words, teaching them the right words, allowing them to express this emotion. Don't shut them down. Don't be the parent that your child is crying and say, why are you crying? Please keep quiet. No, it's okay to cry. It's very, very okay to cry, because sometimes even we as adults, we cry. So when your child is crying, don't shut the child down. Don't tell the child keep quiet, because it is okay to cry. Your child is crying for a reason, and it's our duty for us to teach our children that when you cry, when you feel this emotion, there is something going on. So you can now sit back and say, what is happening? How can I deal with this? So it's our duty to teach our children how to manage their emotions, how to be calm, how can they regulate their emotions. But something I usually say is that parenting is all about modeling. How are you as a parent managing your emotions? How are you controlling your emotions? Do you know that when you control your emotions, when you manage your emotions the right way, your children see it, they model, they pick it, and they run with it? So we have to model the right emotional regulation or the right emotional management before we can even come to teach our children, So another way we can teach or raise confident children is to encourage self-advocacy. Our children need to feel confident in standing up for themselves. We should allow our children to stand up for themselves. Allow your child to speak up for his or herself. Don't be the parent that is always ready to speak for your child. Your child is having a small misunderstanding with their classmates. You've gone to speak for your child. Your child fell down. You've gone to speak for your child. Your child is having just one small challenge that you know that your child can talk about it with their sister or their brother. You've gone to speak for your child. No, when you do that, you're not encouraging this child to be a confident child. But one way we can encourage our children to be confident and independent is by allowing them to stand up for themselves, allowing them to speak up for themselves, even if it's not easy initially. But allow them to speak up. Give them opportunity to stand up for themselves. Give them opportunities to speak for themselves. How can we do this as parents? We must teach them to use their voice. We must teach them to always communicate, to always speak up. Teach your child to always speak up when they feel uncomfortable about anything, when they feel uncomfortable about anybody, any situation, anything around them. We must teach our children to speak up. We must teach our children boundaries, to understand boundaries, to have boundaries for themselves. We must teach them that no one should go against your boundaries. We must teach our children needs and preference. What is your need? What is of priority to you? When we do that, we're teaching our children how to stand up for themselves. For example, if they are uncomfortable in a situation, we can help them practice saying no. If your child feels uncomfortable, we should teach our children, when you feel uncomfortable, you speak up. It doesn't matter who you're uncomfortable with. If you're uncomfortable with a family member, you speak up. If you're uncomfortable with a classmate, you speak up. If you're uncomfortable with anybody, we must teach our children it is okay to speak up. We should not teach our children that, okay, no, when an adult is talking, you will not say anything. No. We should teach our children when you're uncomfortable about anybody, it doesn't matter who, even if it's me, your parent, if you're uncomfortable about me, you should speak up. You should speak up and say, sorry, I am uncomfortable. When we do that, we are encouraging our children to stand up for themselves, and definitely they will grow up to be independent and confident. Then the last way I have for us that we can raise confident and independent children to support the needs of our children, pursuing their passion, help them to be self-confident and help them to have a sense of identity. Support the needs of your child, support the interest of your child. What is the interest of that child God has blessed you with? What is the interest? What is the need of this child? Are you supporting it, or are you there? Are you discouraging that child from doing that thing? You can see your child has interest in craft. Are you discouraging your child from doing craft? Because probably some people say, "Oh no, I don't want my house to be scattered and littered. No, don't play with paper." No, but you can see that is that child's interest. So we should support the interest of our children. We should encourage our children to carry out activities that is of interest to them. Definitely activities that are safe, that is in alignment with our family values. We should encourage them to carry out music, to be involved in music, in sports, in reading, any activity we can see that is of interest to our children. We should encourage them to carry on with it. We should celebrate the interest of our children and show enthusiasm, for what excites them. So what is that thing that excites your child? What is that thing your child likes to do? What is that thing that when your child starts, your child is so engrossed in it? Support it, encourage it, fan it, look for better ways to make this thing big for this child. When you do that, you raise this child to be a confident child. This child will grow up to that, oh, I am confident in this thing. I do not need anyone to validate me, because this confidence is already built right from the home. So it's our duty as parents to foster independence and confidence in our children, because when we foster independence and confidence our children will be able to face the world. Our children will be able to face the world with resilience. Our children will be able to face this world self-assured of who they are. Our children will be able to face this world believing, having confidence in their beliefs, having confidence in their abilities, having confidence in who they are. So we as parents, it's very important for us to raise our children to be confident and independent. And it all starts from the home. It all starts from the factory, which I say it's the home. It all starts with us. What are we teaching? What are we modeling? What actions are we showing to our children? What are we doing? What are we doing? Our actions, does this align with raising confident and independent children? So we as parents, we need to go back and check within ourselves. What am I doing? The way I'm raising my child, the way I'm raising this child, am I raising this child to be a confident and an independent child? If not, we can pick out one or two things we can start to do today to raise our children to be confident and independent, because confidence and independence, it's a life skill our children need to survive in life. Our children need these skills, and it's our duty as parents for us to teach them the skills. It's very important we teach our children these skills they need, and it all starts from the little tasks. It all starts from the little things they do on a daily basis. So as parents, let's watch out for our children. Let's encourage them. Create the right home environment for your child to be independent and confident. Create the right scenario, the right situation to foster or to promote independence and confidence in your child, because it will do your child, it will do our children a whole lot of good. So thank you for listening to me today. I believe you've got value. If you've got any question, please feel free to drop your question in the comment section. Please join our Facebook group, Becoming the Renewed Parent. Please join, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Becoming the Renewed Parent. And I have an upcoming book, Becoming a Renewed Parent. Please pre-order very soon. I'll drop the pre-order link on my Facebook group, Becoming the Renewed Parent, and my Facebook page, Chioma Odikolo. Please support me. It's actually my first book, and I'm sure you'll be blessed by reading that book. Thank you very much for listening to me. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you so much. Till I come your way next time. See you and do have a great day. Bye.